everybody. It's great to be back with you today for another exciting episode.
I'm supposed to welcome you today. What are you doing?
You weren't doing your job. She was
you
taking
said
too long.
Just a minute.
She's always the one who's like, we gotta go. Hurry. There's stuff to do. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. And then when it's time to actually do her job...
Because it was my job, and then you said just a minute. I have to pull up my calendar, so I was waiting a minute, and then all of a sudden you started. Okay.
Because I was excited to be with all these people, and wonderful people, fans and viewers.
Fans.
Community, and you were taking your sweet time over there.
Okay, so here's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
This morning.
Okay.
We have a really fun week coming because our 2 teenage nieces are coming.
Oh, yeah.
This week. They will be in Monday.
For spring break.
So we are recording actually a little early so that we have quiet in our house because when the cousins come, it's 6 girls and their ages will be 20, 19, 18, 18, 16, 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I get 6 kids in there? Anyway, so it's like, it's going to be crazy.
You missed a 17-year-old.
I missed a 17-year-old. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of girls in this house, and it's going to be noisy and it's going to be fun, but
it makes recording almost impossible.
Yeah. So that's why we're recording early. But
sometimes we'll kick them all to Starbucks. We're like, hey, we'll buy you all Starbucks. Just get out for an hour and a half.
Yeah. But we're excited. The kids are very excited because they get to hang with their cousins. And we actually are leaving town. We're going to go paint over on the other side of Florida in Tampa at a church there because it's the perfect time for us to leave because then the kids get the house to themselves and they can stay up late and they can be loud and they can leave it messy until we come back.
Yeah.
They just know they have to clean it the day we are coming back so that when we walk in, it's clean. But they can leave the dishes until that moment if they want to.
Well, their living room that they hang out in is literally the wall adjacent, like, to our bedroom. So trying to sleep at night is mad chaos.
Yeah, because they're noisy and they're not bad. They're just
fun.
normal kids. Yeah, normal young adults now. They're all growing up.
Yeah.
It's super weird.
Well, Sandra's most looking forward to them come because she gave all the girls like cleanup chores they had to do before their cousins got
We're doing
here.
a little extra cleaning, which I love when extra cleaning gets done. It makes me very, very happy.
And her spring cleaning list.
Yes. So it's going to be a really good week. We're going to be traveling for work for our painting business.
Yep.
And we'll be working very hard over there. And I think it'll be a nice time, though, because it'll also be quiet in the evenings. It'll just be me and you. So.
Well, and the house we're staying at has a pool and a hot tub, so we can work all day and then kind of hang out at night. That's going to be nice.
Yeah, it will be wonderful. And I do a lot better, like, not working when we're out of town. I mean, obviously, we're going to be painting. But once we get done with the painting for the day, like, I'll be able to just relax and enjoy.
Hopefully.
So I hope so, too. I think we're going to have a good time. So that's what's going on with us. We love to hear what's going on with you, so let us know. Today we're talking about emotional infidelity in the podcast. So we're really talking about when does it go too far, like friendships with the opposite sex and what is an emotional affair and how to recover from it.
Yeah.
Because there may be some of you who are like, that was our story. That's what happened to us. And we're having a hard time coming back from that. So we want to give you hope today, too, about the fact that, like, you can come back from it.
Yes.
So that's what the episode is about today.
Well, and if you've walked that journey, it would be great if you would share kind of your progress and the things that were helpful to you in the comments.
Definitely.
To help others as they watch the episode and follow along. A little different perspective maybe from you than they might get from us, which could be helpful for them as well. So,
absolutely.
You ready?
So we're ready.
I think we're ready.
We are ready. Are you ready?
Gather round, everybody. It's time for a family meeting. The Family Meeting is a show that's all about family relationships. We're the Osterkamps. I'm Thomas. This is my wife. What's your name again?
Hello, and welcome to our family. Welcome to episode 286 of the Family Meeting podcast. On today's episode, we're going to discuss emotional infidelity. That is the hidden affair that destroys trust in marriage. And we want to talk about what emotional infidelity is, how it develops, and the fact that it can be just as damaging as a physical betrayal, maybe in a different way, but also how to rebuild trust afterwards. And many couples underestimate the emotional boundaries until trust is already eroding, till it's already too late. And then you've got to rebuild something that was broken.
Yeah. So we've had actually some interesting conversations about this the last couple of weeks with some different people. We'll share some of that stuff with you. Before we jump into that, though, we are just a few weeks away from Marriage Conference with Reach Church in Sorrento, Florida. That's going to be April 17th and 18th. So looking forward to traveling. It's a little less than 2 hours away from here where we're at in Palm Coast, but it's going to be a good time together.
Yes.
First time at Reach Church and meeting with those people. I'm really looking forward to that. Then the following weekend, we have a marriage retreat that is going to be held in Berlin, Ohio. And that is April 24th through the 26th. So the retreat itself is going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that's going to be a good time together. A couple days later, we're going to be with Refresh and speaking on marriage with some ministry leaders up there in Ohio, Columbus area, I think. So it's coming up. April, going to be a little bit busy, but we're looking forward to the time spent investing in marriages, relationships, churches, and ministry leaders. Make your plans to be with us there at those events.
Yes, we love meeting listeners at our events. It is so fun.
So, we got the events coming up in April. We are finalizing. We announced it on social media already.
Yes.
But we are finalizing our next project together. Lysandra, do you want to share what we're doing?
Yes. So we are just about to the finish line of producing our next book, which is Discipline That Works. And it is all about the proper and appropriate way to discipline your child, not just to produce good behavior, but to reach their heart. And in this book has been so special to my heart, because in it we tell all the stories of our daughters, and in doing so, it's like reliving their stories, reliving those moments, which are so precious to me. Even the discipline, like the discipline was hard. Oh my gosh, it was so hard. But it was also, like, looking back on it now, it is special.
Yes.
So
share some of our successes, our failures.
Yes.
This book is 20 years in the making.
Right. We've been studying for this project for 20 years.
It actually started out as a sermon I did quite a few years ago. I was doing a parenting series called PG, Parental Guidance. And one of the messages in the series was on discipline. And I shared 5 C's of discipline. We did podcast episode. I think it's episode 3, going all the way back. If you are listening, you're a new listener, and you go back to listen to episode 3, have some grace. We were just figuring it out. Okay?
We were very tied to a script.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. It's funny to listen to the earlier episodes now.
Yeah, because most podcasts don't make it past episode 10. And by episode 10, you still don't know what you're doing and who you are as a podcaster.
Yeah.
So, but that podcast episode was like over 6 years ago. And so this has been coming for a long time. The message was before that even.
Well, and then we also spoke together at our new church that when we moved to Florida, we spoke on the 5 C's of discipline together in a sermon series. And so, kind of taking it and revamping it as ours and then putting it into a book. So, yeah, it's really...
The project's been going on for a long time, but it's kind of neat to see it getting ready to cross the finish line. Just 2 days ago, I was kind of finalizing the cover and all of that. We're going back and forth on that. So it's just about there. In fact, by the time this comes out, we may be waiting on our author copies before we finalize everything. But
ooh, I'm so excited! I can't wait.
We'll have a little unboxing and everything. That's a fun project.
Yeah, it is so special when you get that first copy in your hand of something that you've poured your heart and soul into and spent so many hours on, and then to like hold it in your hand, it is a special moment.
Yeah, because just even forget all the practice stuff and the messages from years past. Like just writing the book, I've been working on it for a year or longer. And so to finally get that in your hands is something that's pretty special. And I think it'll be a lot of help to all of you families out there. And if you've already passed that stage of parenting, maybe it'll relive some horror stories from your time disciplining your kids. But yeah, that's what we got coming up.
All
Looking
right.
forward to it.
So let's get into our discussion for today. Because here's one thing that we want to really help everyone to understand is that not all affairs are physical. There are physical affairs. There is physical infidelity. And that is a tough one to recover from, most definitely.
Yeah.
But oftentimes a physical affair starts, I should say most times, a physical affair starts with an emotional affair.
Most of the time, yeah. I mean, there are people who literally they're just looking for sex and that's it.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And they're not really concerned with the emotional. But most of the time, I would agree with that.
Yeah, from a marriage, marital infidelity starts with an emotional affair. But what if an affair never even gets to that physical point?
Or hasn't gotten there yet.
That can still be really hurtful.
Oh, yeah.
In a marriage, it hurts both spouses and it damages trust. These can begin quietly through conversations, or that can even lead to emotional dependency. It might be unmet needs in your marriage, and then it slowly shifts and you start to look for intimacy outside the marriage. And when you do that, it turns into an emotional affair. Emotional affairs very rarely start with bad intentions.
Right.
Most people don't set out to like, okay, I'm not getting what I need from my spouse, so consciously I'm going to go out and I'm going to look for it from another guy or another woman. That is not typically what happens. Typically they start with just simply an unguarded heart.
Yeah.
We're just not paying attention. We're not realizing what's happening. And I think about Proverbs 4:23, that is such a good verse. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. And we are told to guard our heart, to watch for our heart. Everything in life springs out of what happens in our heart. And that is why emotional affairs are so damaging to your marriage, because it's all about the heart, and the heart is most important. What's going on in the heart is the most important.
Well, and that is the idea behind the word keep there, is to guard or to protect. And you notice as Solomon's writing here, he says you're to guard your heart with all diligence. In other words, you're not just being passive about this. You are very thoughtful, very protective of your heart. He says, because out of your heart, the issues of life kind of flow out of it. And that's going to be the direction that your life is going to go. And so if we want to make sure that we don't go a direction that we don't want to go, we have to be careful about that. We have to guard, we have to protect. And so let's talk a little bit about what emotional infidelity actually looks like today. And it starts with a special connection with someone else. Most often somebody who is of the opposite sex, and they share personal thoughts, fears, or relationship problems with someone outside the relationship. And we were just having a conversation recently with somebody, and she was very open and honest about this very issue. Lysandra, you want to share a little bit about that story with us?
Yeah, what she was saying is basically she had a special connection with someone else, and it was someone at work. And it was kind of like work wife, work husband, and kind of like joking around there. But what ultimately happened is they were just sharing personal things, these thoughts, fears, relationship problems, deep things. He was more in need, and so he came to her for help, and she had a desire to help him. And she even said, I was just so naive at the time. Like I didn't really even realize what was happening.
Well, and she's very kind and compassionate anyway.
Right. So like the desire to help is there. And
Yeah.
that can definitely be how an emotional affair starts, is with just one person wanting so badly to help or rescue or save this other person. But basically they just got a little too close, and it would be like maybe going out to dinner after work, maybe going for drinks after work, maybe taking breaks together. And then this, for me, this was when she said this was when I knew, like, okay, that's when it went too far, is when she was going to go out with just this guy from work. But what she told her husband was, I'm going out with friends from work.
Yeah.
And that's how you know it's gone too far, is when you in your heart of hearts know, I have to lie to my spouse about this. It's gone too far.
Yeah.
Because it's okay to have friends. And we have a whole episode on, like, are you allowed to have friends with the opposite sex? And we have a whole episode on that a while back, maybe last year or something. But so it's not that the friendship is not the problem. The problem becomes when it gets too close and you start to have to omit truth or straight out lie to your spouse. And it's because you know at your heart of hearts it's gone too far.
Which in this case, she did both, because she omitted information as far as who was going to be there, and then she lied when she's had friends.
Instead of a friend from work.
Yeah.
Because then the natural question would be,
Okay, if you say, I'm going out with a friend from work.
oh, who are you going with?
Who is it? Like,
Yeah.
who are you going with?
Not
Yeah.
even in a like sketchy way, like
an accusatory
suspicious.
way. Yeah.
Just like, oh, who are you going with? You know, like the curiosity, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that was such a great conversation, and it was interesting to kind of hear somebody who had been through it and experienced it a little bit.
Well, and what was great is, as this is going along, there came a moment where she was like, okay, this has become something more than it should be. And she was able to recognize that, have a conversation with her husband about it, and then take steps to right the ship. But,
And I love the question that she asked, because what she asked was, is this weird? Is it weird that I'm going with just him? And her husband was like, yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
So like that was the way that they put it. But basically it's like, is this too far? Is this right? Is this wrong? And it's like, okay, this has crossed the line. That's basically what they came to, the conclusion. And then she started putting up boundaries and changing the relationship.
So I know you referenced the episode we did about friends of the opposite sex that we did a little while ago. And just for those who are kind of new, this is the basic summary. Lysander and I are not of the persuasion that think that you should have very close friends of the opposite sex that are just your friends. And I know there's people out there that are going to be like, that's pretty old school mentality. But for us, our marriage relationship is the most important relationship that we have. And so there's not a good reason that you have to have a friend of the opposite sex. And so I would never want to have a close friend that Lysander felt uncomfortable about, male or female. And so it's not worth it. So you can go back and listen to that, but that's kind of a basic summary. But here in this situation, you're talking about this special connection. The outside person becomes their primary emotional support instead of their partner. And so for whatever reason, sometimes it's because your spouse is not putting in a lot of effort to get to know you and connect with you emotionally. We get that question a lot when we go to marriage events and we have Q&As. A lot of the questions are around that emotional connection. And so here you have somebody who is interested in you and is connecting with you emotionally. And so they feel excited to talk to this person in ways they no longer feel with their partner.
Right. Another aspect of like what emotional infidelity looks like these days is constant private messaging. This will often happen through texting, social media DMs, messaging apps. It could be gaming chats, workplace chats like Slack and Teams. Slacks.
Slacks.
Let's get on Slacks. That's like a really sad messaging app.
Yeah.
But it oftentimes is like the work husband or the work wife kind of idea. But signs that this is maybe inappropriate and it's no longer just about work or whatever is conversations that happen daily. Because I understand like 5 days a week you're at work, but if you are 7 days a week texting the opposite sex from work, either it's inappropriate or your work-life balance is way off anyway.
Yeah.
There's an issue there either way, though. Daily conversations or very, very late at night. It's just not appropriate to be messaging somebody at 3 a.m. of the opposite sex. Like, it's just not right. I just spoke with a young lady, and she was saying she knew that something was off in her marriage when her husband was receiving texts and texting back and forth at 2 and 3 a.m. And she's just like, who are you messaging? And he's like, nobody.
Yeah, nobody.
And that's a problem because it's just not normal for someone to be messaging in the middle of the night.
No, you should be sleeping unless you're working. Like,
Yes.
unless you work overnights.
Right.
I can't even imagine.
No. Yeah. Would you stay up till 2 or 3 for a text message?
No. Literally, people text me if you text me at 8 o'clock, there's a good chance I'm not texting you back until 4 or 5 in the morning when I get up to go to the gym.
Yes.
Like, it's just not happening. This is what's I want to say funny because I can't think of a better word. So I don't mean that it's comical, but it's just funny how in moments like this that we're talking about, how oblivious we are to our normal patterns, and our spouse knows our normal patterns.
Yes.
And when we move outside the normal patterns, they notice. So like, if you have a certain way of handling your phone all the time, and then that pattern changes, then it's like that's a huge red flag. Something's going on.
Yes.
That you don't want me to know about.
Yeah, like if you're starting to delete messages or hiding your phone, or like your phone is, you don't want to ever put it down, or like, you flip the phone over quick.
Yeah.
You always set the phone
Your
face
spouse
down.
walks in the room and you quickly like move your phone or whatever. It's like,
Yeah, there's a reason for that, and that's wrong.
but a lot of that stuff, it's just subconscious, right? Because we have this
Yes.
guilt and we don't want them. So we don't even recognize we're changing the pattern, but it's so obvious to our
Yeah.
spouse that something's going on here.
Because we know each other so well. When you live with someone for that long, you learn their patterns, you learn the person.
Yeah. Sharing intimate details about the relationship. So instead of addressing problems with their partner, they tell the outside person things about their marriage and their marriage relationship. Whether it's frustrations about the relationship, sexual dissatisfaction, emotional complaints about their partner. And this creates a false emotional alliance with the third person.
Yeah.
So now I'm connecting with this other person over the problems I'm having in my marriage relationship.
Yeah, so it's kind of us against him or us against her, the spouse.
Yep.
Yeah, I never thought of I think it's really cool how you called it an alliance.
Because that's really what it is.
Yeah.
You're creating another alliance with that person instead of the person you're in a marriage relationship with.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. All right, it also looks like emotional energy shifting away from the marriage relationship. So you might notice a little less emotional presence at home. So they're there, but are they emotionally present and emotionally engaged? They may be more excited to talk to somebody else. They're more excited to talk to this person that they're having an emotional affair with than they are to talk to their own spouse. Distraction when the married people are together. So the spouses are together, but one spouse is distracted and kind of just not present mentally and emotionally. And the spouse becomes emotionally secondary to this other person. And if your spouse is secondary emotionally to anyone else, your priorities are out of line.
Yeah.
You should have God as your first priority in life, and you should be closest to him other than anyone. But on this earth, humanly speaking, the first and most important relationship and closest person emotionally should be the person that you are married to, because you made vows to them. You promised them that that is who you would be and that is the relationship that you would have. So if there's anyone else and your spouse becomes secondary emotionally, it's out of line and it's wrong.
We have the opportunity to talk to a lot of different people in a lot of different places, doing marriage events and whatever else. And you had mentioned get more excited to talk with somebody else than with your spouse. And it's always interesting to me, one of the fastest ways that I kind of evaluate how healthy somebody's relationship is watching the way they react when they talk to or about their spouse.
Yes, it's so fun.
So
it can be fun.
It can be fun. So like we love hearing people's stories of how they got together. We love to share our story of how we got together. And you ask them how they got together. And most of the time in these situations, you have couples who, when they start talking about it, they get a little like sparkle in their eye.
It is. It's real.
Like a smile breaks out on their face.
They're glowing.
Like they're just excited to talk about their story because this is somebody they love and they care about. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes you get people who it's like it's like lifeless.
Oh, it's so hard
talking
to see
about
that.
it, and it's like right away, and it's like these small little things that if you weren't paying attention, you probably wouldn't notice. But if you're looking for it, it's so glaringly obvious that like there's something wrong here in this relationship. I don't yet know what it is, but they aren't excited to talk to each other or about their own personal relationship.
Right. Yep. It can be very sad, and it can also be very beautiful.
Yeah. Another thing is seeking validation from the other person. So that could be like sending selfies for compliments. Mm-hmm. Asking their opinion on personal decisions first. So rather than talking to your spouse, you're talking to this other person about it first.
So like if it's say it's a guy who's married and he sends a picture of his outfit to a lady from work and is like, "Hey, does this shirt go with these shoes?" Or whatever. Like that's an emotional affair.
Yeah,
that's a personal decision.
I know, but that's weird anyway. I don't know a lot of dudes who are.
But you would send me pictures of like a jacket and be like, or you would show me like your shoes and your belt or something. Like you would do that.
I don't think I've ever sent you a picture asking that question though.
You've sent me like if you bought something on Amazon.
Yeah. Okay.
Like to get my opinion about a jacket that you wanted to buy or thought that would be good.
Okay, I get you. Okay, there you go.
So I'm saying like if a guy is like...
But I'm never getting dressed in the morning and then like, hey, what do you think about this?
No, but you're also different than a lot of guys, I think, too. I mean, I'm not saying that a lot of guys would do that, but I do think that happens.
Okay.
All right, poll, listeners, YouTube viewers, men, have you ever sent an outfit, a picture of what you're wearing to your wife to say, like, does this match or should I change my shirt? Or like, are these shoes the right shoes? Or should I wear this jacket? I think men do that a lot. I don't think you do as often as other men.
Yeah.
But you do ask my opinion about what you wear.
I might like send you a picture and be like, which way's the weight room? Like,
yeah.
Like, are my arms going to fit in this t-shirt?
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know. Send me another picture.
Yeah.
But those are like personal decisions, right? Where you're
come up with a different one because I don't think dudes are doing that. What's a different one?
Oh, I know I'm right. I just can't wait for everybody to flood in with comments saying that I'm right. But I will think of a different one. Maybe it's going to your boss and should I like talk to my boss about this thing? Should I ask for the raise? What do you think? You got a better one? You come up with one.
No, this was your
okay.
your thing. So.
What is an example of asking the other person for their opinion on personal decisions before you're asking your spouse?
So, I got one.
Okay.
Should I use taco seasoning or ranch seasoning on my boiled chicken breast? Which one?
It could be that. It could be that. Have you ever asked me that question?
No.
Yeah. So I think that your
But it's just as valid as
example
the
is
one
bad.
you gave. So, but
so this is whose examples are worse
exactly
today on the podcast.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be like, you both suck. Well, thank you. We agree.
But you are seeking their opinion or personal, on personal decisions first, whatever it may be. Maybe it's feeling good when the person praises or reassures them. Now, to an extent, we all like to be encouraged,
yes.
by somebody else. But it's like you're seeking that validation, that reassurance from that person specifically, and it just becomes this dopamine-based validation loop where you're constantly trying to get that validation, that reassurance from them, that attention from them, and it's like some sort of drug hit, or you feel good about it,
And you go back for more. This is another issue, is comparing the relationships, and you may be doing this in your mind, not out loud, not on purpose, but you just start to internally think, man, he understands me better. Man, I wish my spouse was more like her. And this comparison that kind of creeps in a little bit, it deepens the emotional divide, where now there's more of an emotional connection with the person outside of the marriage than your own spouse. So this is kind of what an emotional affair looks like right now. So let's talk about some early warning signs. I feel like all the things we just discussed are warning signs and are issues, but let's talk about early warning signs that the lines are starting to be crossed. We're so distracted. We just have to tell everybody what just happened because we're both distracted.
So we have new neighbors that moved in behind us, and when we're recording, so those of you who are watching YouTube, you're seeing us. We're looking straight out our back window.
Behind the camera.
And some dude that I've never seen before is out there with 2 dogs.
2 little dogs. And Coconut is upstairs because he's not allowed to be down here because he's so noisy when we record. But he would lose his mind right now.
They are running around going nuts.
He would be so happy to go out there and see those
I have
dogs.
No idea what Lysandra has been saying.
Yeah, I wasn't listening to you either.
So, yeah.
At least we're honest. Okay, so we're going to talk about early warning signs. Okay, honey? That like lines are being crossed. All right, and this is the first one, is increased secrecy on your phone.
Yep.
Well, increased secrecy anywhere, but I think for so much of us, it starts with our phones.
Well, we live on our phones.
We live on our phones, yes. But, maybe the phone is turned away. You, all of a sudden, like your spouse has a password change. Location is turned off.
Yeah.
Messages are deleted. Like, why are all these messages deleted? Secrecy is one of the earliest indications that something is going too far.
Yeah, because if you have nothing to hide, why are you trying to keep secrets?
Absolutely.
Lysandra and I, we share location with each other all the time.
Yep.
I don't know that Lysandra knows how to use it or how to find me, but
I can find him. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, send me the address. And he's like, just map to me.
I'm like,
map to me.
I share location with you 24/7.
I forget that you can map to him, but actually I am getting a little bit better about that. But anyway, so I know how to use the location finder because I do that with the kids and you all the time, but I don't know how to turn it off.
Yeah.
So.
But no, Lysandra and I have never had an issue between us as far as anything like that.
Emotional or physical affair. Yeah, there's not.
And so, but we still share location with each other. It has nothing to do with being accusatory or watching or keeping track of each other. It's simply, so that we kind of know where each other are all the time. It helps with planning, knowing how long they're going to be gone, how long they might take them to get home.
Yes.
Just different things like that.
It's convenience and because I care about him. Like, he'll be in a meeting and I'm like, if the meeting goes long, I'm like, oh, I hope it's going well. It's just I care about you. I care about where you are and what you're doing because I love you. And then Thomas is the creepiest creeper ever. He's like, what are you doing at Aldi? Or he's be like, how's grocery shopping going? And I'm like, stop creeping on me.
Oh, check this out. So yesterday, Lysandra, we had a family morning with the girls and with 2 of our daughters because the other ones were busy. working and everything. And so we go for a walk. We get them some Chick-fil-A breakfast and all that. And then they want to run errands. So I'm like, just drop me at the house, please.
Yeah, I don't want to run errands. And we're like, great, we don't want you to come with us to run errands.
So
Because we know you're bored.
a couple hours later, I'm just like looking to see like where they are. And all of a sudden I see my daughter Isabella come into town. And Catherine and all of them are all together, and they meet up at TJ Maxx.
Catherine got off work, Isabella got out of class, and all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my gosh, all 4 of my girls are going to be together in the same town.
TJ Maxx, and then they're at Culver's all together. And I'm like, no one even reached out to me.
No, but I did send him a picture of us eating at Culver's, and I was like, look what we're doing, look who I'm with.
And that's when I said, you guys went to TJ Maxx without me. And she's like, how did you know we went to TJ Maxx?
Yeah, creeper. You wouldn't have wanted to come to Culver's, would you?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. Otherwise, I would have invited you.
Would have been nice to bring me some ice cream, but...
You were being healthy yesterday. You didn't want ice cream.
I know.
I was a good wife, not tempting you. Can't you see the good?
No. Just want to be thought about.
Okay, I'll think about you better.
But, you know, you have that secrecy, like she talked about. Signs that your friendship has gone too far, you're defensive about a specific person. So if their spouse asks about someone and they respond with, you're overreacting, they're just a friend. And there's irritation or anger about it. Like, why are you so defensive when it comes to this one specific person? And you may not even realize it's happening yet. You may not even realize that you've crossed that line.
It's the early signs.
That defensiveness about a specific person is a sign that there's something more going on than should be going on. It signals that emotional attachment. And maybe it's not a defensiveness, but you're just talking about that person frequently. Like their name just happens to come up all the time.
They're just on your mind.
Yeah. Referencing conversations with them, quoting their advice. And it's one of those signs that this person is occupying a lot more of your mental space.
Right. And then another early sign is that emotional withdrawal at home. So the signs specifically here would be like fewer deep conversations with your spouse, less empathy for your spouse, less shared interest in activities and shared activities. So what happens is your emotional intimacy has shifted elsewhere, and it's an early sign. Like it's only started, at the beginning, and that's where that excitement comes in, where like, you start to get excited about communication with this other person, and you might notice you're all of a sudden smiling at your phone, or maybe you see that in your spouse. Your spouse is smiling at their phone, and you're like, who are you talking to? Like that's an early warning sign. Like this is getting too close. Something's up here. Quick replies or eagerness to check messages all the time because you've begun to become emotionally attached to this person. And what's happening is at these early stages, the emotional reward system is being activated, and you feel good when you're emotionally validated and someone's interested in you. And this is happening. So if this is happening, these are the early warning signs, and you got to pay attention to this stuff and nip it in the bud.
Yeah. And kind of the last early warning sign that we'll share with you, we kind of share a few more, but we'll share this one as the last, and that is downplaying the relationship. If you have to say things like, it's harmless, or maybe you're not even saying it, you're just kind of thinking it, right? It's harmless. We're just friends. You're being insecure.
Yeah. Like
your spouse has some questions and you're coming back with them like you're being insecure.
It's a you problem.
When something feels hidden or minimized, it's often because boundaries are already blurred. And we just encourage you, like, if your spouse has an issue with something that you're doing or a certain relationship, then it's important to pay attention to your spouse's thoughts and feelings on the matter. Once again, as Lysander mentioned, it's your marriage relationship is to be the top human relationship that you have in this life. And so if Lysandra has issues or problems with somebody that I'm hanging out with, as I mentioned, it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, I need to pay attention to that.
Absolutely.
And vice versa.
Right. And so I want to share another quick story with you, somebody that reached out for some help. So this is a unique situation that I have never come across before, but I thought it was so good that she was trying to get help. So there's this very kind woman, and a younger gentleman has moved into their neighborhood. And she really kind of viewed him like a son, I mean, he's an adult, but like a son, and just wanted to, help him spiritually and encourage him and help.
there is a wide age range. So like
Yes.
this dude could literally be her son.
Yeah, very literally. And she just wanted to show him kindness and show him love. And I think his mother even passed, if I remember correctly. So it's a very harmless, innocent relationship until it's not.
Yeah.
Because the husband is starting to feel uncomfortable about the relationship. Nothing physical has ever happened. It's just an emotional relationship, like mother-son relationship. But for the spouse, it's too far.
Yeah.
For him, he feels emotionally threatened. He feels like they're too close. And so my advice to her was, it's not that you have to completely end the relationship with this young man and never speak to him or tell him directly, like, I cannot speak to you anymore. Like, it doesn't have to be this big thing, but begin to put distance between you and tell your husband, like, I care about you more than I care about anything else in this world. And even though this relationship is completely harmless, the fact that it is upsetting you is harming our marriage, and you are valuable enough for me to make changes, even though I don't feel like this has gone too far.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for you because the problem is that you are uncomfortable, and I want to value you and how you feel. And so I'm just saying, put the distance between, just begin to text less, answer phone calls less, be less available, and it will eventually fizzle.
So I want to make one little rebuttal on something you said, and I don't
Okay.
think you realized you said it this
Okay.
way. You said the problem was that you feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So I want to change that just a little bit. The problem is I made you feel uncomfortable.
Yes. Okay. Right. Because the problem is not that there's an emotional affair happening. The problem in the relationship is that the spouse feels uncomfortable. So even if the emotional affair is not real, if there's no actual emotional affair, the relationship is still a problem because it makes the husband feel uncomfortable.
Right, but I'm saying it's not a problem that your spouse ever feels uncomfortable.
Right. The problem is that you've made them feel uncomfortable.
You made them feel, because
Right.
if you feel uncomfortable about a certain thing, you should voice that. That's not
Yes.
that's not an issue in and of itself. You have the right
Yes.
as their spouse to say, this relationship in this aspect makes me feel uncomfortable for this reason, and that is okay.
Yes.
So I understand what you're trying to say. I just wanted to make sure our listeners are very
Right.
clear in what we're
It
saying.
may not be coming out right the way that I'm intending it to. Yeah, because if your spouse feels uncomfortable, there's a problem. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, that is right. Yes.
If your spouse feels uncomfortable, there is a problem. And you are responsible to make changes and to put distance, or maybe for you, it is a situation where you need to completely cut ties with someone. But in this case, like, I think just creating distance. But I love that they're communicating about it. And I love that she reached out for help.
Yeah.
She said, I need an outside perspective because we don't see this the same way.
Yep.
And that's really good.
Well, and this is not like some outside random thing. Like Lysandra and I have had conversations where one of us has been like, you know what, I really just don't want you spending a lot of time with this person.
Yes.
And I don't really want you getting close with this person for these reasons. And that's okay. In a marriage relationship, you should be able to state how you feel and the things that bother you freely without any risk of retaliation or anything else. Your feelings are valid, and you should be taking steps. You should want to take steps to protect your own marriage relationship. So if somebody makes your spouse feel uncomfortable, Lysandra's the most important thing to me. So I've got no problem setting up boundaries and like limiting certain friendships or relationships, because my marriage relationship with Lysandra is the most important thing. That's what I care about most.
Yep.
So that's some of the early warning signs. Let's share, okay, maybe you've made some mistakes. Maybe you went too far. It crossed a line. You weren't trying to, but if we're not actively guarding our heart, sometimes we just get there. So what are some practical ways that we can rebuild trust?
So the first thing that you want to work to rebuild in rebuilding trust is to reestablish honest communication. Inevitably, if you have crossed the line and entered into an emotional affair, there has been some dishonest communication. At the very least, there's been omitting truth, but most likely there's also been lies. So now we've got to reestablish, okay, we are speaking truthfully now. Everything that happens, you're going to know about it. It's all about honesty. And connection starts with safe, honest conversation. Like, that is why I feel connected to Thomas, is because I know I can tell him anything. I know that I'm safe to tell him anything. I know that he doesn't lie to me. And how do I know he doesn't lie to me? Because I don't catch him in lies. We talk all the time, and what he says is true. So that's what brings back safety in your relationship, is honest conversations. And the way to work on rebuilding this is setting aside regular times to talk without phones or other distractions, which that you should be doing in your marriage anyway, but using I statements instead of accusations. Okay, so you're going to say, I feel distant lately and I miss feeling close to you, rather than you never talk to me, you've made me feel abandoned. You see the difference there. So start with I feel statements and focus on understanding. You're not trying to just win an argument. The goal here is to create emotional safety so both people can be completely open again.
Most definitely. And you want to address the root issue. Emotional disconnection usually has underlying causes. So it doesn't just happen. There's things that have caused it, whether that's negligence or something else, but it could be stress or burnout that has caused it. It could be unresolved resentment. And sometimes it's not a huge thing that has happened. Sometimes we just kind of let things keep on going, small things over time, without dealing with them and without getting to a place where we have forgiveness and can get closure and can move on from it. So these things kind of build up and you have this unresolved resentment that's happening. Maybe you are feeling unappreciated, and that's easy to happen. But if that's the case, you have to deal with it. You've got to get down to the heart of the matter. Maybe there are unmet emotional needs, a lack of quality time. And the list could go on, but you've got to get to the heart of what is the root issue at play here. And sometimes you may need like somebody from the outside to come in and help you dig down and find exactly what's going on. But yeah.
And the thing is, when you find the root issue, so maybe let's say it is feeling underappreciated. So I feel underappreciated, and because I feel underappreciated, I went and looked for appreciation outside of my marriage and got too close to a guy.
Yeah.
Let's say that that's your situation. Well, finding out that the root issue is feeling underappreciated is important, but it is not an excuse.
Exactly.
So it's not like I would come back to Thomas and I would say, well, I did this because of you. You made me feel underappreciated. You didn't ever appreciate anything I did, so I went looking for it elsewhere. This is your fault.
Yeah.
That is not at all what we're saying here. It's about finding the root issues so that repairs can be made and you can fix the issues, right? And change the behavior in the marriage. It's not about blaming your spouse for what you've done.
No.
Because you have your own responsibility for making a bad choice and letting a relationship go too far.
And this is, as far as the appreciation, this is something that can happen whatever the situation is. Doesn't matter if you stay at home, and Lysandra for a long time, especially when the girls were young, she stayed at home and she took care of the kids and took care of the house. And
15 years.
It's easy to take that stuff for granted, especially in our situation, because I'm not a person who notices a lot of that stuff.
No.
It's funny because a lot of times Lysandra will, well, this just happened just yesterday.
Yesterday.
So we've been working a lot and traveling and then painting.
Nonstop.
And so Lysandra has not been at home as much to do a lot of the things that she wants to do around the house.
Practically just to sleep.
And so she was very happy yesterday to be home for a while and get some things done that she wanted done. And she's like, it's been out of control around here as far as like laundry and this and that. And she's like, haven't you noticed? And I'm like, no, like I really don't notice. Like
I washed the bedding and like remade our bed, and I did our laundry, and I helped the girls catch up on some of their laundry, and like I cleaned our bathroom and like things like that, which he had no idea that any of that was left undone.
No. And so there have been a lot of times where in that instance, Lysandra has felt unappreciated. And she's stated that, like, I just feel like I'm not appreciated around here. And that could be the case. But she can, honestly share that information. And I try to pay attention and notice, and I'm good at it for a little while, and then it kind of slides away from it.
You work at it, though.
But the same is true, like, when I would, I was the only one working at the time. And you come home, and you're expected to jump right into helping with the kids and all that. And I'm not saying that I don't or didn't. But sometimes that can feel like you don't appreciate the work I'm doing outside of the home. And so it can really go both ways, where we don't appreciate each other for the things that we're doing to contribute to the family as a whole.
But either way, whether or not we feel appreciated, that doesn't give us an excuse for an emotional affair.
No.
Right? And that's what we're trying to say here is like, you need to get to that root issue of why the person felt that they needed to find emotional affirmation somewhere outside the relationship, but it's not an excuse. It's about being able to fix the issue.
Yes. And I think more importantly, you need to dig down and find out the reason why you felt that way to go somewhere else, so that you can deal with it personally.
Right.
Where it's like, I didn't feel appreciated. I sought it somewhere else that wasn't appropriate. Okay, let's fix that. What can I do? Mm-hmm. How can I have the honest conversation with my spouse?
And how can you find that root issue?
So there's some questions that you can and should be asking each other on a regular basis. One of those questions is, what has been missing for you lately in our relationship?
That's such a good question.
Like, what in our relationship has been missing? And you're not accusing anybody of anything, but you're opening yourself up to learn and grow in your own relationship. And I love this because I've always wanted to learn and grow in my relationship with Lysandra. Socially, when it comes to relationships, not my strong suit in a lot of ways. And so I want to know what it is that I need to work on. What have I not been doing well at?
It's my favorite thing about you.
That I can learn and grow. So we all have that room to grow, and it opens us up, like, to have honest conversations and really see that what we've been missing. What about this one? What helps you feel loved and secure?
That's a good question.
And it's a question, and we say this a lot, but it's like you both change over time. And so just because you knew what your spouse helped your spouse feel loved and secure a year ago or 6 months ago doesn't mean that's what they need right now. Mm-hmm. And so staying up to date on and current on that. And once you understand the real problem, it prevents repeating the same cycle.
Yes, right.
You don't want to repeat the same thing.
Absolutely. And then another thing that you need to do is establish clear boundaries with other people outside the relationship. This is another way to rebuild the trust, right? So healthy relationships require clear limits with outside people. Let's think about some examples of what might be a boundary that you need to create.
We won't go into a lot of detail because, like we said, we do have a full episode on this that you can go back and check out.
Yeah, but no private, emotionally intimate conversations with someone outside the marriage who could become a romantic interest, okay? Transparency with phones or messaging. If trust has been damaged, the passwords should be out, no hiding the phone. Phone is set down, face up, not face down, so on and so forth. But avoid confiding in relationships. Avoid confiding in other people with your relationship issues and the frustrations that you have, because then you're going to open yourself up to becoming too emotionally close. And a simple rule that you may want to have is, like, if you wouldn't say it or send it in front of me as your spouse, then it's crossed a boundary.
Yeah.
So that's as simple as you, like, if you wouldn't say it or send it with me right there, then you can't do that thing.
Unless it's like a surprise present, surprise party. Even then, Lysandra would say it in front of the person whose surprise party it was.
Yes, I would, and I would ruin the party for everyone.
Which she did recently for
I
somebody.
did, but only because I didn't know it was a surprise, not because I slipped. I just
Why
didn't know
didn't you know it was a surprise?
because I didn't read the full invitation.
Yeah, that was quite comical as that actually happened.
I appreciate you bringing that up to make me feel bad right now.
No problem. Yeah, just a great example that fits. So along with rebuilding trust, you want to rebuild emotional intimacy. And this is not something that happens just do one big thing and everything's back exactly the way that it should be.
That'd be so easy.
I know, but that's not the way it works.
It is not.
Your relationship didn't happen like that, and it's not going to get back to a good place like that. So connection grows through small daily behaviors. And maybe it's just 20 to 30 minutes of undistracted conversation daily. That's a good practice overall in your marriage relationship.
Yes.
Regular date nights. We talk about it constantly because it's so important to have that regular connection. Don't stop dating your spouse after you get married. It just gives you more opportunities to have date nights and to celebrate each other. Physical affection. And we're talking about like non-sexual stuff. Like you should be seeking that physical affection that is literally just about emotional connection. That's hugging, holding hands, whatever it is. Just literally sitting next to each other where your shoulders and your legs are touching while you're sitting there watching TV or doing your, morning coffee or just things like that where you're having that physical connection that, once again, it's not about having sex. It's not about progressing things further physically. We're just connecting. Sharing highs and lows of the day. Like, what was the best part of your day? We did this yesterday when we were out walking with the girls. It was like, Sandra's like, okay, what was the worst part of your week? What was the best part of your week? And we kind of all went around. It's just a little, like, it's not a big deal. It's just a little
connecting.
way to connect with each other. But these small, consistent moments rebuild emotional closeness over time.
That's right. And then this is really important. You need to start increasing appreciation and positive feedback in your relationship because many relationships fall into a criticism loop, right? Where it's like, you didn't take out the trash again. Well, if you would remind me, then I would have. And it's like you're blaming back and forth, If you'd be home more often, then I could do X, Y, Z. Whatever the criticism loop may be. So we want to break that. We want to break the criticism loop, and we want to say things that uplift and affirm. We want to give positive feedback. We want to show gratitude in our relationship. This is going to change things for you. So you might try saying one genuine appreciation every day. So don't make stuff up.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Oh, I'm so thankful you're such a perfect husband.
Yeah.
That isn't real. That isn't real.
For most people, yeah, it's not real.
It's not real for me either.
Well, I hope you're not a perfect husband.
Okay. So, what can you thank them for? Thank you for going to work today. Thank you for putting your paycheck in the bank so we can pay these bills. Thank you for staying at home with the kids. Thank you for having my socks washed, clean, folded, and back in my drawer.
Well, and here's the thing. It really doesn't matter how terrible your relationship is. You can always find something positive to show thanks and appreciation for. Even if it's like you're still here. Like, thank you for being here. And sometimes we get so focused in on the negative that it's really hard for us to see anything positive. But there are positive things happening, and you may just have to be like Sherlock Holmes to find it. But there are things there, and once you start to focus in on those positive things, and you start saying them and showing appreciation for them, it's amazing how that begins to multiply in the relationship. You see when you find what it is that you're looking for.
Exactly. And maybe they're kind of failing. Maybe they aren't succeeding. Can you acknowledge effort?
Well, and
you tried.
Yeah. And to be honest, especially early on in our marriage, I did a lot more wrong than I did right. And so, you may be in that stage of your relationship for a lot of different reasons, but there are positive things that you can find.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so recognize the effort and the things that they do. If you take this positive, this gratitude, and you bring it in to your relationship more often, it's going to strengthen emotional safety. So express gratitude instead of assuming that things are just expected.
Yeah.
Like, and there are things that I expect of Thomas. I expect him to work. Like I'm not okay with him not working and me supporting him. That's not okay with me. I am not okay with him, I don't know, cheating on me, whatever. Right. Like that's expected of him to be faithful to me. But can I say thank you for not cheating on me? Absolutely. And I do. And I say things to him sometimes like, thank you for not having emotional affairs with other women. I really am grateful for the boundaries you've put up and stuck to for 22 years. Can I say thank you for going to work every day, even though I expect him to? Absolutely. And I do. I appreciate the work that he does. And he does the same for me. And it feels so good to be in a relationship where you're both expressing gratitude to one another, even for the things that are expected.
It really does. Another thing that you should do is create shared experiences again. And it's amazing to me how divided we are as probably a civilization. That we used to have a lot more shared experiences with people. I think back all those years ago into the 1900s when we had like 3 or 4 channels. So we were all watching the same thing.
Yes.
Even if we weren't together, we were having a shared experience. We were watching this television program at this time, this
on
certain
this
news channel, like this sporting event. We all watched it. And so wherever we went, we had things in common that we could talk about. And now, especially with the algorithms and everything else, we can be so disconnected that we don't have a lot of shared experiences. And that's true even as couples. And so couples reconnect when they experience life together, not just managing responsibilities, not just managing a home and a family and those sorts of things, but you're really having these shared experiences together. And that could be travel or short weekend trips.
Yes, highly recommend. Do this.
So Lysandra and I, because we get to travel and talk on marriage, we have the opportunity to do this quite frequently throughout the year. And we just love it.
We do.
And we try to schedule in and get places a day early, just so we can experience that place and spend some time together, whether that's going on a hike together or going to a certain restaurant. Just had a friend from church reach out to me yesterday and say, hey, weren't you guys just in the Smoky Mountains? And I'm like, yeah. So he was like, what restaurants and hikes and whatever else do you recommend? And so I shot him a few places for them to go and see, but it's like we've had these shared experiences together that draw us close together.
Yes.
Maybe it's shared hobbies. And we don't think that you have to do everything together as a couple. Good for you if you do, and you both enjoy the exact same things all the time, but we don't. But we have shared things together. Maybe it's fitness activities, cooking together, learning something new together. But you're having shared experiences that bind you and draw you together. Mm-hmm. You did that when you were dating.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. And even if it wasn't anything you were interested in, because that other person was interested in it, you went and did it. And you tried it. And you listened to the awful opera music, and you watched the stupid musicals, and you did that kind of stuff.
Or you watched sports that you would never watch before.
And you learned the names of the players and all of that kind of stuff for at least one season. Mm-hmm. Right? It doesn't have to be like that all the time, but you should have things that you're doing together. Mm-hmm. Novel experiences reactivate that bonding chemistry in the brain. And so there is something literal that happens when you have shared experiences together.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right. And then you're going to want to, as you rebuild trust, agree on relationship priorities. Okay. Discuss what matters most to you going forward. One of you may be hyper focused, and it's so important to you that you communicate all day long. I want to be connected all day long. The other person doesn't really care that much about that, but they are very, very particular about how much time you spend on devices. That when we're together, we should not be on our phones at all, right? Yeah. So like both of you have different ideas of what's priorities in the marriage. So you need to discuss them. Share, this is important to me. What's important to you? Okay, we're going to make both of those things important to both of us because we love each other and we care about that. So maybe it is protecting time together. Maybe it's that emotional honesty that we talked about.
Yeah.
Both of you should be prioritizing the relationship over any outside friendships. That definitely needs to be happening and make that a priority. But maybe it's about constant conflict resolution where, okay, the most important thing for us is that we've got to stay current on all fights, make sure nothing builds up, whatever it may be. But what you do is you create these important relationship priorities that you're both going to prioritize. And as you do that, it prevents you from drifting apart again because you're both focusing on the same things and focusing on the things that are important to one another.
So with the nature of emotional infidelity, you may need outside support.
Right.
And you may need to work through some things. So whether that's your pastor and his wife, maybe you need to go to a professional therapist or something like that. Maybe you need some marriage coaching to work through that. This is something Lysandra and I do offer at Family Meeting. And, just a couple nights ago, Lysandra was having a coaching call pretty late at night for us, but helping a wife work through a situation with her husband. And so if that's something that you need help with, you can find that familymeeting.org/shop, and you'll see the different coaching options that are there. But we encourage you, find somebody who loves marriage, who wants your marriage to succeed, who comes at it from a Christian experience that will help you. And if you can't find that person, we'd be happy to walk that path with you as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, emotional affairs rarely start with bad intentions, but they do start with unguarded hearts. So really be thinking about your heart. Is it guarded? Are you paying attention? Are you being careful? And maybe this is something where you're feeling like this is a little issue here. I think this is an issue. Maybe you want a bonus resource. We have that for you. We have emotional boundaries in marriage reflection guide. So it's just going to help you walk through and think through the things we've talked about today. And if that would help you in your marriage, all you need to do is email us at info@familymeeting.org and we will shoot that reflection guide to you. And you can do a little bit more focused reflection on this topic.
So Family Meeting tonight, you're going to have a conversation, just husband and wife, and you're going to talk about the emotional health of your marriage relationship and what are some steps that you can take to strengthen that. And maybe that is setting up some safeguards and some boundaries, as Lysandra mentioned with the reflection guide. Maybe that's, hey, we need to strengthen the connection that we have with one another. And so how can we communicate better? How can we create better shared experiences? Maybe plan a trip away together, a weekend or something like that, where we're going to spend some time together. And that's going to look different for each of you. We talked to one couple in Mississippi last weekend, and one of their shared experiences, they both love baseball. And so they've got a semi-professional team just one town over from them, and they got season tickets to it, and they're both super serious about it.
Yeah, it's like we don't invite friends because we don't want to talk to people while the game's on.
It's not a social experience. They just love the
very
game.
Serious.
And but they do that together, and that's kind of a way that
it's so cute.
They connect with each other, and they have that shared experience. But figuring out what is that for you as a couple. So great conversation that'll help build and strengthen your emotional connection this week.
Thanks for joining us today. Please go and subscribe to the Family Meeting podcast from your favorite podcast provider. And if you found this information helpful, please share this episode on social media and invite your friends and family to listen in with you.
To find more content and information Lysandra and I provide, you can go to our website, familymeeting.org, or email us at info@familymeeting.org. If you'd like to shoot us a text or call us, you can send a voice message at 904-257-3062.
And we want to invite you to join us for our next family meeting as we discussed allowing your child to be who they are, not necessarily trying to smooth out all their rough edges. God made them the way they're supposed to be, including the things you dislike about them.
Yeah.
But God can use those things. And we're going to talk about that. There are some things about our children that were difficult, especially when they were younger, but we did not want to change who they were.
Yep.
We just wanted them to behave.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So
Yeah.
we're going to kind of talk about that next week.
Thanks for joining us today for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting is adjourned.
All right, guys. What about you? Maybe you have experienced an emotional affair. Maybe your spouse has. Maybe we missed something. If there's something that we could learn from you, from your experience, we would love to hear from you. Put it in the comments. We'll be waiting. We'll be watching for those. Also, you need to vote on would a man send a picture of his clothing to a woman for
First of all,
advice?
he's not wearing an outfit.
No, it's not an outfit. It's not a fit check. I
Yeah.
get that. But just to say, does this jacket match with these slacks? I said slacks again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let us know, though, because we need your votes, especially if you think I'm right.
I won.
Thank you very much for joining us. Have an awesome week. Bye, guys.